Corey.
Dave, at this point in the season, Devin Leary's thrown for 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Obviously, the first 2 games he had 1 interception. He hasn't thrown one since. Wanted to get your thoughts on his play this season and how big he's been for this team, especially in terms of passing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, protecting the football is the best way to win, period. All the other stats that are out there, that is the one that gives you the best opportunity to win games. And when your quarterback is doing what ours is from that standpoint, he's giving us the best chance to win, not just because of his arm or his accuracy, because he doesn't help the other team, And I think at the end of the day, a lot more games are lost than they are won. And Devin does a nice job of not putting that out there and giving them a chance to play on a short field and hurting our defense. He understands that every play doesn't have to be a great play. If he gets to the next one, that might be the one where we have a guy wide open, So he's learned a lot in his time here. He's grown up a lot, and he's done a really fantastic job with Coach Beck and Coach Proctor of just learning the game plan and being patient, and taking what's there.
I was also going to say, it really seems like he's most comfortable in that fourth quarter, regardless of the circumstances leading up to the game. That second and third quarter didn't go as well as you guys had probably planned against Louisville, but he played really well in the fourth quarter. He's done that against teams like Clemson in the past and several times this year. What have you seen from him that gives you confidence in him every single time when you're late in games?
Well, since the Pitt game, I think that's the first time I've seen how clutch he is. He doesn't get rattled. The moments aren't too big for him. I think there's some people out there that get uptight, and he's not one of them. And that makes him look really good because there's people around him that are flinching and pressing or trying to do someone else's job. And Devin's doing the same thing he was doing previous quarter and the previous quarter before that. I think a lot of times people think that guys all of a sudden become superhuman in these clinch situations, and they really don't. They just execute, and sometimes other guys don't, and I think Tom Brady's a great example too. He does all these things in clutch situations. Peyton Manning did all those things in clutch situations, and you hear him talk about that kind of demeanor. That they don't change who they are. Like, they're the same guy. They're just that guy the whole game, and other people aren't. And Devin's really calm. He's very poised. He doesn't get rattled. And so those moments for him are really good moments. And that gives us a chance, in these one possession games to be elite.
James.
Yeah, Dave, it felt like the red zone was one of the ways you guys won this game against Louisville. And you've been good in that area offensively and defensively this year. What are some of the traits you see or you need to be good defensively, specifically in the red zone?
It was an area that we work a lot in the red zone. First of all, it's an area of emphasis here. So I think there needs to be a comfort zone that your players have down there. Like, they know your game plan, they understand it. I think a lot of times as coaches, you spend so much time in the regular part of the field, and then you get down there, and there's a lot of things that can change down there. Your coverage packages, when you get inside the 10, are different on defense because the windows are different. And so we spend a lot of time down there. The kids understand what we do, the whys behind it. And so because of that, they can play fast and execute and do the things necessary. And that was our best game in the red zone. We were 100% on both sides of the ball at reaching our goals. And I agree with you. I think that's definitely one of the reasons we won that football game.
And just to follow up, I wanted to ask you about Jordan Travis. Obviously, he's considered a dual threat quarterback as well. Does it help playing Louisville before them, or the game? Are they similar schematically?
He's definitely a great athlete. I think he does some things on his own. When they drop back and throw, where he can extend plays, and he's got that extra gear. He can really run. His speed is very similar to Malik Cunningham's speed. I think Malik's more of a slasher too. Malik's really different the way he changes direction. And not to say that Henry doesn't change direction well. I just think Malik he's a little different that way. But you have to be ready for this guy as a runner. It probably does help that we just spent the last week working on QB run game as well. The designed runs aren't always the same. You know, we'll have to work on what their run blocking schemes are going to be and fit them up and make sure we have enough people there and be super disciplined in our pass rush lanes again and in coverage, because when guys scramble, obviously you can give up some big plays on scramble drill. So our rules on defense have to be really sound that way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Gibson.
Yeah, Dave, sometimes when one side of the ball is struggling and the other side is playing well, there could be some friction. I didn't see that on Saturday night. And if that's so, what does that say about your team? It seems to be a tight group.
Yeah, I think they believe in each other, and the complementary aspect of what we preach carries over there. And I think, you know, the defense knew that they needed to help the offense, and the offense knew they needed to help the defense. You could hear it in the locker room. That's what the guys were talking about. Hey, the defense is playing great. We got to get out there and help them. Like, the kids knew. They were excited to get the adjustments that we were going to make, and then just took us a little bit longer than we wanted to execute them. But that's football, man. I mean, there's some games, and obviously in the Miami game, we didn't hold them enough, and we needed the offense to score more points. And there's games where you're just going to have to outscore them. There's games when you got to hold them down score wise, and there's games where your special teams have to be able to score. So we are playing good complementary football, and that's really good. I mean, that's something that we needed to be able to do to have a chance. It just wasn't what people expected, I'm sure, with us having 4 guys down. Probably expected us to have to score a lot more to win. So I was proud of us for finding a way to win, you know.
David.
Quick 2-part question. One, did you dress up for Halloween? And 2, if you could dress up as any other college football coach, who would you dress up as?
Yeah, I did not dress up for Halloween. Unfortunately, we had Halloween Sunday here, getting ready for the next game, and you know, had a night game Saturday night, so didn't get much time to enjoy it. Was here late last night. We did have some trick or treat here with the kids of the coaches and players and things like that going on. If I could dress up as any other college coach was the question. I don't know. I'm going to pass on that question.
Okay, fair enough.
Jonas.
I'm laughing at that. That's how I almost forgot my question. Coach, you said you talked about the running game in your opening statements, and over the last few weeks, you talked about how teams are defending you guys, putting 8 in the box, trying to stop the run. Now that Devin's showing that he can beat teams in the passing game, do you anticipate seeing teams kind of back out now and trying to stop the run, and maybe that'll open up things for Bam and Ricky a little bit more?
You know, it's going to be interesting to see, Jonas. I think that's a good question. I think you have to defensively in college football pick your poison at times, you know. I do, and we have to do the same thing here. And our offense needs to be able to play the math game. You know, if they're going to put guys in there, we got to be able to throw the ball, and we've been able to throw the ball to win. So, you know, you guys know me, you know, I'd love to be more balanced offensively than we are right now, but at the same time, I'd rather win games. And if they're going to make us throw to win, that's what we're going to do, you know. But at the end of the day, there's a bravado about being able to run the football better than we are. And it's not blame on anyone. I mean, we all as a program have to be better in that area. It starts, you know, with me, and then the offensive staff, and then the players, and something we take pride in, but take more pride in winning, you know. So if they're going to load it up, then we're going to throw it out there.
I don't see any other hands raised. Does anybody else have any questions for Coach Doeren?
Did you really look at the crowd and singled out somebody dressed as Ted Lasso? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I turned around to get a drink of water, and there's this guy has like huge mustache, Ted Lasso thing on. Just made me laugh. You know, we get a lot of 3.5-minute breaks. So, you know, and then you kind of catch something out of the corner of your eye that makes you look at it. It's like, wow, that's a pretty good costume right there, you know. But Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was great having a Halloween home game like that. It was a lot of fun.
So Coach, I know you didn't want to answer the college football question, but do you have maybe like a favorite Halloween costume that you've worn in the past?
This is clearly a story you're writing.
It's really not. I'm just interested. I'm just interested.
Not really, man. Not that I can.
Not a big
really.
Halloween guy.
I mean, just the last however many years Halloween I've been coaching, and lucky to even get a chance to do trick or treat with my kids, when we had them when they were littler. So no, maybe when I'm retired and things like that, I'll dress up like you or somebody, and be a reporter, go around and annoy people. And
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.